Hello, happy new year and welcome back to Flying Bobbins. I'm Liz and today I'm going to introduce to you my next sewing tutorial, which is the Billie Sweatshirt by Tilly and the Buttons. I had planned on doing a sew along for this one in the month of January. Homeschool has slightly changed my plans, as I'm sure many of you will find that situation rather familiar. What I'm going to do is I will do an hour-long video or a half-hour-long video each evening this week, and hopefully by the end of the week we shall have a sweatshirt to show for it, and I shall just post one video every evening and you can sew along at your leisure. So yes, I'm going to make the Billie sweatshirt. It's a fantastic pattern. You'll notice that I love Tilly and the Buttons patterns because they're so easy to follow, and they are really great styles as well, really modern, and they fit nicely. This is in magenta here. This is the regular sweatshirt I made just before Christmas, and it's in a fleece back sweat with a matching rib, and I stock this in my shop. And I just went for this one for the regular sleeve and the sweatshirt top. Now if you get this pattern, you've got a choice of styles that you can make. So you can go for a sweatshirt with a puffy sleeve, a sweatshirt dress, or a sweatshirt dress with a puffy sleeve, and you can choose with or without pockets on the dress as well. So there's tons and tons of choices. It's a really versatile style, and it's not actually as difficult as you may think. I think people look at sweatshirts and think, oh, that must be quite technical. Actually, sewing with knits is really nice and easy. It's not too complicated with the fit like a woven can be. So it's a nice exciting project, and it's really nice to wear as well, and I hope you give it a try. I'm going to be using a Flying Bobbins sewing kit to make my sweatshirt dress this week. And I'm going to show you what you get inside your kit and talk you through the options that I have on my website for making this along with me. So I wanted to talk you through the options that I have available on my website for making the Tilly and the Buttons Billie sweater or sweatshirt dress. I, before Christmas, sourced some different fleece and French terry fabrics that had with them matching ribs. Because you're going to want a rib for the cuff and the collar, and you're going to want that to match the main body of your fabric. So these are the options that I have in my shop. So first of all, if we start at the back, this is the petrol option. This is the rib that comes with it, and the rib, you will see, is on a slightly narrower roll, and it's actually made as a tube, and different qualities vary in width, but they're all kind of made in a tube like this. Okay, and then you just, I'll talk you through how they're going to be cut later, but just to let you know. And the ribs, the way that they're made means that they have such a lot of stretch, and that's why they're really great for those cuffs that you want to be nice and tightly fitting around your wrist, around the bottom of your jumper and around your neckline, but they've got loads and loads of give on them so that you can fit them on, pull it over your head, put your arm through the sleeve, etc., and then it recovers back to that nice tight fit. So that's why we use a rib when making the sweatshirt. So that's the peacock colour there, and that matches with the beautifully soft peacock French terry. And the French terry, if you look at the reverse side, just has this kind of loopy textured reverse, and this is a nice medium weight knitted cloth, and it's nice and easy to sew with because unlike a jersey, it doesn't quite curl up as much, just because it's got a little bit more stability in it than when you're sewing with a single jersey. So as an introduction to sewing with knits, this is a nice fabric to get you started. So that's the petrol colour, or the peacock colour. The one that I made my sweatshirt in is the magenta, so there's the magenta rib. This one's even narrower still, and the reason why this rib is so narrow is because it's a 2x2 rib, and it's got loads of stretch. It's like those skinny rib vests that you can get, you know, so but it's 2 forward, 2 back, 2 forward, 2 back, and so it just allows it to concertina. So it is that little bit narrower, but it does stretch loads, so it's great for your cuffs and your necklines. And the fabric that matches that rib is this fleece back sweat. It's super snuggly, super warm, really, really soft. And that's in magenta. And all of these combos are available as sewing kits. If you look at www.flyingbobbins.com, you should see them all there. Next up, we've got the 2x2 rib in denim blue. So it's like a nice chambray kind of classic denim blue, very, very soft colour. And you've got the denim blue marl there, again in the same quality French terry as the peacock colour. It's lovely and soft, and that's got kind of like a denim-y blue marl. It's very easy to wear, that one, nice and easy to wear back with other things. Then we've got the gorgeous pink, which is like an ice pink, and that's again in the 2x2 rib and in the French terry quality, in that icy pink. Last but not least, the fabric that I'm going to be using is the grey. So I've got this grey rib. This comes from a different supplier, so it's a slightly wider roll, but it's essentially the same sort of thing. So that's a rib in a grey marl. And then I have got this one, which I really love spots. You may have noticed that if you've looked at my shop lately, I have got quite a lot of spots going on. And I think for this time of year, spots are just nice and fresh, and it gives a bit of a pretty touch to the project. So I'm going to be using this grey marl spot. So all those 5 colour combos, the grey, pink, denim, peacock and magenta, are all available as kits in my shop. Last but not least, I just wanted to show you these two, which I also have in stock, and these are slightly heavier alpen fleece, so they're really quite a snoogly fleece, and they've got the gorgeous foil print stars, and then if you can see that, the lovely hologram hearts as well on an ivory ground, and that's got an ever so soft fleecy reverse side there. Those don't come in the kits, but they would be perfectly suitable for making the Tilly and the Buttons Billie Sweatshirt style. I'm going to be using a Flying Bobbins sewing kit to make my my sweater with. So this isn't actually my kit, this is one that I've just boxed up for somebody, but I thought I wanted to show you what you get inside. So you will get your Tilly and the Buttons Billie Sweatshirt pattern. You will get 0.7 metres of rib, and you will get a length of your chosen fabric. How much you get will depend on the size and style that you choose to make. You will also get a matching reel of moon thread. My matching threads haven't arrived yet, but when they do, that's what you'll get. The other thing you might want to pop into your kit as an extra is a pack of ballpoint needles. If you're using a sewing machine, then it's worth using these instead of universal needles. And actually, even if you're sewing this on an overlocker, there is a bit of machine stitching to do. So it's worth, if you haven't already got a packet, grabbing a pack of these as well. Let's take a look at the pattern. So if you have a look at the reverse side here, you'll see that you've got a choice of styles to make. You can make version 1, which is a regular sleeve top, version 2, which is a balloon sleeve top, version 3, which is a regular sleeve dress, or version 4, which is a balloon sleeve dress. And you can then choose to have with pockets or without pockets. The sleeve, when you open up the pattern, you'll also see has a choice of full length or 3/4 length. And you've got all the pattern pieces you need for those included. Apologies if you can hear the children upstairs, it's bath time. They're rather excited. I'm going to let you in on a secret. I'm in my new sewing room and the door handle is broken and I'm currently locked in. And I'm not calling for help, I'm quite happy that I'm locked in actually. I can't get out even if I wanted to because the door handle's just fallen off. Anyway, back to the sewing pattern. This is my life at the moment, it's a bit chaotic. Anyway, so Tilly and the Buttons go from a size 1 through to a size 10, which is a UK 6 through to a UK 24, or a bust measurement of 76 centimetres, that's 30 inches, or 122 centimetres, 48 inches. With this pattern, I found that it came up quite slim, and if you're in between sizes, I would go up a size. With sweaters and sweater dresses, you kind of want them to be oversized and snuggly anyway. So if you're in doubt, go up a size. and that should be fine. Of course, as well, you can always take it in. It's more difficult to let things out than it is to take them in, but that's kind of my feeling on the sizing. Tilly and the Buttons are really good with their sizes, and I'd say they are comparable to high street sizes, so it's quite easy to kind of work out what you are. The chart down here just tells you how much fabric you need, and the kits that I sell correspond to that. And when you open up your envelope, you will have your amazing colour booklet with photographs showing you all how to cut out, how to make, every single stage of the make, and that's what I'm going to be following during my sew along that I'm going to start tomorrow. And then you will also have 3 big sheets of A0 paper with your pattern on. So the first thing that you really need to do is decide which style you're going to make, because that will tell you which pattern pieces you're going to need. You won't need to cut out all of them. I'll just open this sheet to show you as an example. So this is the sleeve sheet. Now when you look, these are all multi-size patterns, and if you're familiar with dressmaking, you'll be familiar with multi-size patterns. So all of the sizes are printed on top of each other, and they go from 1 up to 10. You just choose which size you are, work out which line you are. So if you're a size 5, you'd be following the dots, and then you're going to cut out around those dots. One tip I have, if you want to do so, you can go around with a highlighter pen and highlight your corresponding line first before you start to cut, because that might make it easy for you. If you don't like damaging your original pattern, you can always trace all of the pieces off as well and keep the original pattern intact, and that's another way of doing it. Personally, I kind of get a bit bored with tracing, so I just go for it and chop out. When I am cutting out, one thing I'll say is I keep all the scrap bits of paper and put them back in the envelope just in case I need them. So that's the sleeve pattern there, and then you've got a choice of different cuffs. So there are 3 different cuffs, one for the regular sleeve, one for the balloon sleeve, and one for the 3/4 length sleeve. And that's just because you need a different width or depth of cuff depending on the style. Let's have a look at the other 2 sheets. On this sheet here, you've got the front, you've got the neckband, the hemband, and the pocket pieces. Now if you're cutting the top, then you're going to cut off this line here. But like I say, keep the bottom bit, because you might want to sellotape that back on later and use it to make the dress another time. If you're making the dress with pockets, you're going to actually also cut out around this pink line here for the pocket opening. If you're not, ignore that bit. And then finally, whoops, you've got the 3rd and final sheet. And this includes your regular sleeve and the back bodice. Now, in order for them to fit it on, you'll see, whoops, sorry, I just knocked my camera there, sorry about that. In order for them to fit it on, you'll see that the regular sleeve has been cut in 2 parts. It's not that you've got a short sleeve option, it's just that it wouldn't fit onto the sheet, and they're going to be economical. So all you have to do is cut out these 2 pieces and then stick them together, matching those triangles. So if you're making the regular sleeve, you just cut those 2 out and then make it into 1 piece. It's just been split in order to fit it onto that sheet of paper there. So the pattern pieces you'll have is you'll have a front of your jumper or dress, a back of your jumper or dress, a pair of sleeves, and that's going to be the pieces that you'll have in your main fabric. If you're making the pockets, you'll also have the 2 pocket pieces or 2 pairs of pocket pieces. You'll then move on to cutting out the rib, and you'll have a rib for the neck, one for the hem, and for the cuffs as well. So the first things that you're going to need to do, decide on the style you want to make, decide on your size, cut out your paper, pattern pieces, and then you're going to grab your fabric and you're going to wash it, because it's always a good idea to pre-wash your fabric. Now we need to look at your laying out plan, which is on the 3rd page normally, or 4th page of your Tilly and the Buttons booklet. And these can look a bit baffling, but don't worry, you just need to work out which size you're making, and then are you using a wide fabric or a narrow fabric, and then it will give you, according to which style you're making, your laying out plan. And my advice would be to lay it all out first, check that it all fits, and then once you're sure that you've got it right and it all fits, then you can start cutting. So I'm going to show you how I cut mine, but of course it will depend on the fabric you're using, the style and the size that you're using as well, as to whether your layout plan will be the same as mine. But hopefully if I can show you how I'm doing this, it will, you know, the general rules of laying out and cutting are going to be the same. But just to bear in mind that if you're making a different style or a different size from me, then your layout might be slightly different, and you're just going to need to refer to those 2 pages in the layout book just to show you how best to get the most from your fabric.